Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adults. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, August the 24th. I got Mel Zelenak with us.
Hi, Paul.
Good to have you here. Retired professor, consumer economics, and travel expert. All around good guy who teaches us how to save money.
Thank you. We try.
Yeah. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, the first thing, I want to save myself some money immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, August 24th, is our wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So you don't want to send your wife a card, you're going to say happy anniversary to her.
Card or flowers. In lieu of flowers and a card.
It's called being thrifty, right?
Yeah. We've been married 47 wonderful years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, maybe take her out to dinner tonight.
No.
So what do we got here?
We talked last time. I always like to give you a summary of what we talked about last time. We talked about the Gas Buddy app.
Yeah.
And I know you said
I have used that Gas Buddy app. It's real easy to download it on your phone, and then you can check to see where the lowest prices are. And I got to tell you, I had told you on the air that the prices were all the same all over. When you look at that Gas Buddy app, you realize they are not the same all over. There's a 20 or 30 cent difference sometimes.
Yeah, I'm looking now. This was a few days ago,
Yeah.
but $229 was the lowest price on a mid-grade, and the highest price in town was $284.
Yeah. So if you want to look for the lowest prices in your area, you can download that Gas Buddy app, and this is another one of our invasion of our privacy, but it knows where you are.
Uh-huh.
Your phone knows your location, and it will tell you it'll bring up the gas stations closest to you and the prices that are
even
there.
if you're in St. Louis or Anchorage, Alaska, or wherever it is, as long as they have them there. I mentioned last time $3 a tank of gas, and that is what we save by just going 0.2 of a mile. This last time I filled up, which was on August 14th, and I'm really not bragging here, I'm just saying this thing works.
Yeah, it does.
Green Meadows, McDougal's, or whatever it's called, Shell, on the corner there was $2.49. The Shell right across the street, okay, exactly the same time, $2.69.
Yeah, so you check it out on Gas Buddy, and you will. I didn't believe it. But it
works,
and it doesn't cost anything.
Over even if you save only $100 a year, if you put that in a Vanguard fund, you're going to be very, very wealthy.
Okay, all right, we got that, Mel. So now, what about traveling?
And last time we talked about the final cost is usually not what the advertised cost is.
You're talking about when you're traveling.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to say about websites, we talked about the Gas Buddy website, and I'd like to introduce another website unrelated to that type of savings, but this is called www.boogleheads.org.
It's what?
Boogleheads.
Boogle, BOGLE. Heads, HEADS.org. What is that?
That's right. And that's a website that people who endorse the type of thing that I'm suggesting, which is this Vanguard index funds, they get on there and they tell about the various stories that they've had where they found that, yes, what I talk about on the air quite often is getting into an index fund, avoiding high fees that will cost you over a lifetime, Paul, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm talking about a $10,000 investment that somebody may make when they're 20 years old. By the time they're 70 or so, they have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in their nest egg because of the fees. A lot of people don't realize that these fees, in most cases, occur every single year. And when you're compounding, and you're losing 1.5%, 2.5%, sometimes 3.5% a year.
It adds up
That's
over the years.
That's a huge amount of money. And the
Okay.
example that I have, and I'm just going to paraphrase this, $10,000, you would have about $650,000 toward the end of your life. And if you invested in with the wrong company, the one that charges the highest fees, you would have about $170,000. So that differential, that 400 and some odd thousand differential, is only because of fees.
So when you invest, you got to check what the fees are
Check
going
out
to.
what the total cost is and realize that you're paying that every year in most cases, not just one time.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
All right. We got about 2 minutes left, Mel.
All right, Paul, and let's get to some of these travel tips. And we have not covered this in a while, and this is the alternate airports. And we talked about it briefly, but I didn't explain it further.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. An alternate airport would be Chicago Midway or Chicago O'Hare. If you're flying into O'Hare, maybe if you check out what the fare would be to Midway Airport, you may find that it is lower than flying into O'Hare, right? And many cities have, well, not many, but a lot of cities have.
Actually, I have a list of cities here, and you could see almost 100 cities.
Almost 100 cities in the country have
that
alternate airports?
That have alternate airports.
But St. Louis and Kansas City does not.
Well, St. Louis, Kansas City, well, they do, in fact, and that one happens to be Columbia, Missouri.
Okay, 150 miles away, though.
Well, if you live in Columbia, Missouri, or closer to Columbia, Missouri, and the fare is the same, or once in a great while even lower.
Well, then obviously it makes sense to fly from Columbia.
Well, yeah, I think in the last couple of years, I'm going to say 3/4 of the time that we've traveled, we have flown out of Columbia. It's a very competitive rate anymore since American Airlines came in here.
Okay.
And the thing that is disconcerting sometimes is your layover may be longer going out of Columbia than St. Louis.
Yeah.
We always check Columbia, St. Louis, Kansas City. Some people check Springfield, Fort Leonard Wood, and so forth.
And there is no parking fee in Columbia, is
there is
right
no
now?
parking fee currently.
So you keep that in mind, and we're out of time. But Mel, you're always an interesting guy to talk to. You have saved me literally thousands of dollars.
And if you invested properly, I would have saved you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Buy the food.
I always tease you about that.
I always think back about the collision damage waiver that you told me about many years ago on Pepper and Friends when you rent a car.
Yeah.
That if you got insurance for yourself, check with your own agent first before you buy that collision damage waiver renting a car.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thank you. What's a website they can go to?
Mel's Cruises at charter.net.
All right,
I don't
Mel.
sell cruises anymore.
No, it doesn't sell cruises. He's still got the same email address or
Yes.
web address. We're out of time for today. Tomorrow, Kathy and Dave. Our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director, Lowell Thomas, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.